All right, everyone. Welcome back. You're looking live at Generation to Generation Cowboys and Sports Talks. I'm the host, DJ. I tell you what, and I have my co-host, my dad, Cowboy Joe, aka Capricorn One, on Twitter.
I am your father. Join me, and together we can rule the galaxy as father and son.
And you all know us as a father and son Cowboys podcast, father and son duo on our Cowboy podcast. So go ahead, Pops, introduce yourself.
Thanks for joining our show. Appreciate you guys joining it. As he said, we are generation to generation Cowboys and Sports Talk. So I'm a third generation Cowboy fan, and Jules, I tell you what, is a fourth generation Cowboys fan. So we have we think a unique perspective on Cowboy Nation and what all goes along with that. So appreciate you guys checking us out again. We got a big game tomorrow against the Detroit. So we're calling these rivalry games, kind of like an organic rivalry. You know, back in the day, we had our rivalry with for all the Cowboy OGs like myself, it was the Redskins and, pardon the name, but that was our first rivalry we had. And then, of course, it was the Pittsburgh Steelers and the 49ers. Of course, we always got something going on with the Giants and the Eagles, but we got some of these kind of organic rivalries that are popping up. We had one that started, probably about 15 years ago, I guess, after Katrina happened. All the Saints fans moved to Texas, so that's like an organic rivalry. It's really big rivalry. We saw that a few weeks ago. They tried to take over the stadium. They actually did. And now we got one going with the Detroit Lions, sort of an organic rivalry, kind of rose up after that game we had with them. So your mom was telling me that game was actually on New Year's Eve. I don't know why I forgot it was on New Year's Eve. The Lions game. We had our a crab ball.
Yeah,
so that was on New Year's Eve, I think.
Might have been. I know that was that game really tested my health. Put it that way. Because that game right there, man. I'm telling you. And then, also Dan Campbell is he's a product of the Cowboys and their head coach, and Aaron Glenn is their defensive coordinator, and he's a Texas guy. So, he's from Humboldt. He went to Texas A&M. He played for the Cowboys too. So he played up under Parcells and Zim.
And they both played under Parcells. Dan Campbell was a tight end.
Mm-hmm. So this is a rivalry game for us, especially because they're a team that hasn't been been to the promised land in a long time, and we're a team that's struggling to get there too. And so, with last year, it became a rivalry game, especially after all of the missed calls. Really, the refs turned it into a rivalry game because the refs missed a whole bunch of calls and really caused the scene last year. They, and for all of the Detroit fans that like to say that they was robbed last year, the game should have been over when the refs missed the clipping call. So the game would have been over from that point if Mike McCarthy didn't just figure out a way like he did, throwing the ball on second and third, first, second, and third down out of the end zone, which is just.
And that was the Jimmy game too, when they inducted Jimmy into the ring.
Sure was. Jimmy went into the ring, so it was electric. It was static. Jimmy went off on him at halftime. Oh no, that was Jimmy went off on him at halftime in the playoffs. Yeah. Right. Okay, so so it's an electric game, and that kind of segues into what our show is going to be about today. Our show is going to be about the keys to the victory. Keys to victory, from offensive perspective and defense perspective, and then from a third generation Cowboys fan and a fourth generation Cowboys fan. So that's what today's show is going to be about. So why don't you start it off with your some of your keys to victory? You don't have to go in any specific order on offense or defense, but we want to hear, what do you think the keys to victory is?
So my number one key is your offense is your best defense. I think our offense has to, in these next set of games, they have to take over. We don't have a lot of guys missing on the offensive side of the ball. So Dak, CD, they need to, just play big and play. A lot of people are going to say, well, they got the big contracts. I don't really think that's that big of a deal. But those are the two guys that they got to play like superstars. Dak has to. He played good against Pittsburgh. He has the big turnovers. Can't do that. So I would just say my first one is just the offense needs to, stand up and show up and show out. They're going to have to score 27 to 30 points to win this game. You can't have a game where Detroit is moving the ball up and down the field and they end up scoring, 30 points or 27 points, and you're only able to put, 17 or 20 points on the board. So offensively, we gotta, fight fire with fire. So that's the big key. The first one I have.
Yeah, and to piggyback on that, maybe I'm a homer or whatever you want to call it, but see, I just think that Dak is mano a mano. He's better than Jared Goff. I think he's better than a lot of these quarterbacks. I think Dak and CD can will us to victory on their own, and CD indirectly because a lot of these other players are stepping up simply because the defenses are focusing on CD. So, indirectly, when you got two or three guys looking at CD, well, that leaves the door open for Tolbert to be open. That leaves the door open for Ferguson to be open. Now, Ferguson was killing them last year, so we got an update. Bland not gonna play. Mm-mm. So, but I'm gonna stick to the offensive what you were saying. So yes, I totally agree with that. That was one of mine too. So our offense has to play good. We got to fight fire with fire. And I'm thinking that it's really going to be on Dak because I don't see McCarthy having he shouldn't have a huge role in this game as far as calling plays because we know Detroit likes to run tempo, and in order for us to match fire with fire, we should be running tempo too. And that's when Dak calls his own plays in 2 minutes, just like last game when Dak went down in 2 minutes and ended the game and scored. My philosophy, my opinion is that he moved the ball that easily and scored that easily because he was calling his own plays and making adjustments at the line. That's my thought. And but nevertheless, even with that, we might say McCarthy does call bonehead plays, but the Cowboys move the ball easily all the time. On every team that they play, they move the ball up and down the field. It's just about cashing in when we get to the red zone. So that was one of my keys to victory, red zone. So what do you have to say about that? Because one of my keys to victory, my first key to victory is cashing in when we get to the red zone. Touchdowns, not field goals.
Yeah, so I agree with that. That's your Uncle Eric. That's his kind of number one thing. Is first thing he talk about is we doing too many field goals. We're not scoring touchdowns. So that's a big key, and we're struggling in the red zone. So McCarthy and Dak need to figure that out. So I think another key is we need some of our other stars on offense to have a bigger role. We need to get the ball to Turpin and Tolbert. We need to figure out a way to get another tight end involved. I'm going to stay on this John Stevens hill. I'm going to die on. Hopefully he's active tomorrow, but we'll see. But we need some other guys to step up because one of the things that some of the content creators were talking about, and Brian Broaddus, shout out to Brian Broaddus, he was saying that he fully expects them to just double CD the entire game. So that means some other guys are going to have to make plays. Ferguson is going to do his thing. He's, very reliable. So, so the next key for me is getting some other people to, contribute. And part of that is, McCarthy has to call plays for him to be able to contribute. So
yeah,
you can't just have, a game plan where you're going to go to CD and that's it. You got to get some other guys involved because these guys are ready to make plays. Turpin, Tolbert is doing his thing, and then this might be another game where Lupke can get more involved. So just getting those secondary role players involved is another key.
Yeah. They have to be involved. In order to beat this team, we're gonna have to utilize everybody, all hands on deck. We need Turpin down the field. We need Lukey in there running around. We really need Flournoy. Flournoy. We need Flournoy.
Illinois.
Yeah, we need him. We haven't seen him at all yet. This would be a good game to get him involved. And you know, we see a lot of times they put these slot receivers and they put the receivers come out the backfield. I want to see more of that because CD come out if you can't get the offense going or if they doubling CD, bring him out the backfield because he always does good. It's not like he's running up super high. He always gets at least 7, 8, 9, 10 yards when you just hand him the ball out the backfield. It ain't got to be a reverse. You can just line him up like you line up a running back like he does, and he goes out the sideline. I mean, he goes out the backfield and he does good. So I think that they should do that. And then um, my other third key to victory is my third key to victory is protection. They gotta have someone. They can't get down early. That's number one. You can't get down early. You got to come out fighting fire with fire. You can't get down early to where Dak has to throw the ball 100% of the time. We lead the league in pass attempts. That means that we're throwing the ball more than any other team in the NFL. Any other offense, we throw the ball more than any other offense, and that's because of a few things. It's because we get down a lot, and it's also because we don't have a good running game. So, but we do that a lot. We lead the league in pass attempts. So, we have to be more balanced. In order for us to be more balanced, that can't be throwing the ball 100% of the time. That means that we can't get down early. I don't know about if I like the fact that McCarthy is putting our offense on the field first. I get the whole concept behind it. You want to get out early, but if it doesn't work, then you put yourself behind the A ball, and we know that that doesn't fare well. Just like in the Green Bay game, we got the ball first. We went 3 and out. They got the ball back. They went and scored, and then when they went and scored, it just went downhill from there. And then when we get the ball back at half, they scored and then scored again after the half. So if it's as far as a fail safe, I think we should get the ball at the second half, just in case we are losing. If we are losing at the halftime, we need the ball back because 9 times out of 10, if we are losing, Dak is in rhythm at halftime and after halftime. So I think that they should be doing that.
So now, when if you win the toss and you elect a kick, they call that's deferring, right? I guess.
Yeah, so, deferring to the second half.
So there's a lot of discussion with all types of people that cover the game. It's kind of 50-50. Some people want to take the ball first, and some people want to defer. I'm kind of like in the middle. I don't feel one way or the other about it. I will say this, that what kind of happens in these types of games here recently, when we play teams like New Orleans, we play Baltimore, they just jumped on us real fast. I mean, they're coming down just right down the field and scoring. So probably my last key to the game is, defensively, we got to just hold the fort down and give our offense possession. So, I don't expect Zim to shut them down. It's not going to happen. We just need to keep them out of the end zone, and then we need to get some 3 and outs so that our offense can have those possessions. And more importantly, we don't want our offense taking the field under pressure that they got to come back and, go down the field and score every time. Dak doesn't play his best football when the opposing team is just putting up points on drive after drive after drive. And then Dak has to come in and play catch up. He has that kind of deer in the heads like look.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't want to see that tomorrow. So Zim, they got to do something to slow them down, and in some of those possessions, just force them into a field goal, and that
Mm-hmm.
way, Dak, if they're having any kind of issues, that'll give Dak to play a normal pace game versus getting down 14, 20 points. He's
Mm-hmm.
having to catch up. We don't want to see that Dak.
This game is gonna be a good game. This is gonna be the game where Zim can say, "I am Yoda. I am the Yoda." If he can stop them, if he can stop David Montgomery and Jameer Gibbs from getting 200 yards, if he can stop them from doing that, if he can stop them from running the ball down our throat, and if he can figure out a way to get pressure on Golf, because we all know that if you get pressure on Golf, he looks like a deer in the headlights. That's
Mhm.
what he looked like for real. If you throw him,
He'll throw it to you.
straight up. He'll throw it to you. He'll throw it to you for real. So we got to get pressure on him. So if Zim can get pressure on Goff against the best line in the league, I think, and without our starters, without our top 10, without our top 5 guys, and then also if he can stop Jameer Gibbs and Montgomery from just running the ball crazy, because they are a dynamic running team duo. If he can do that, and we win this game, that's
Well,
pretty much solidifying him.
so my realistic expectation is I don't think he's gonna stop him and shut him down. We just need him to have some three and outs and hold them to some field goals. Now, also, we got to talk about the fact that Kendricks is not playing. Our backup Mike linebacker is out too, so it's going to be interesting to see who the linebackers are tomorrow. The last game, Clark didn't play at all. I don't know if this is the kind of game where I want to fall back on Clark and have him out there because these guys are going to be running downhill. They don't have a. I wouldn't say that they're a physical team as far as the way they run, but one thing for sure is you got to have somebody that's going to come up and make tackles, and Clark doesn't do that. Um, so it's gonna be interesting to see what they do at linebacker. Is it going to be Overshawn, Leofow, and who's that third person going to be?
Buddy
So if
Johnson.
Buddy Johnson, or if it's Clark, this might be an opportunity for Clark to just say, "Hey, I'm being kind of phased out. This is Clark's opportunity to put a lot of good plays on film in this kind of game." There were some
Yeah.
rumors that they were going to try to trade him, so
It's
this would
gonna
be a
be
game for
telling.
him to put some good film on out there.
It's gonna be telling. If he don't play a snap, he's out of here. Because this is a game where we need him. We need him because we need all hands on deck. So if he's not playing at all, you can close the book on him.
And the thing about it is, I don't think he plays anywhere other than the mic. I don't see him playing one of the other positions. He would be much better on the outside if he does play. If I don't like him at all in the middle because they're gonna just run. They're gonna run right at him. He just hasn't shown he's gonna come up and make those tackles. So
Mm-mm.
that's a concern for tomorrow's game. Not having Kendrick. That's
Mm.
why I wish they would have kept the other veteran,
Damian Wilson.
Damian Wilson. This would have been a game tomorrow where Damian Wilson would have been able to, him and Kendricks, they're limited as far as getting to the edge, but plays that are coming right at them,
Mm.
they're going to make those plays. So,
Man, I just like Buddy Johnson. He was showing up in preseason, so I hope they elevate him. I'm gonna look up the inactive list right now and see who's active and
but
who's not.
they're not going to have it right now. You won't get that until before the game. But
Okay.
it'll be interesting to see it when it comes out. Sometimes they might mention something about it on the night before, but what I'm gonna be looking for in the inactive is I'm looking at John Stevens. Of course, we need to get Dalvin Cook, but he's not going to play tomorrow. Oh, that's the other thing that's going to be interesting about this game is Zeke was talking to the media this week about his role. So I fully expect that we're going to see a lot of well, I wouldn't say a lot of Zeke, but we're going to see Zeke tomorrow
On the
in
goal line, at least.
short yardage and goal line. Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
this will be the game to do it because
Mm-hmm.
it's a type of game where you need your veterans. So and Zeke would be someone that you would have thought they would have had him in on the goal line last week, but I think with Rico turning the ball over down there
Mm-hmm.
and Zeke talking to the media about his role, we're going to see Zeke tomorrow on goal line and short yardage. And we need to have Zeke out there on the field too in third downs, doing a little pass protecting with Hutchinson over there. So this might be a game for Zeke to kind of make his way back.
It shouldn't take Mike McCarthy 2 quarters to realize that Tyler Guyton needs help against Hutchinson. It shouldn't take him 2 quarters to realize that. We know that going into the game. This is not the type of game where he gonna just be over there handling his own. It don't work that way, and we know that. So
Brian Broaddus, he was pretty firm, and he said his understanding is that they're just not going to let Guyton single up on Hutchinson. So that's kind of what he was hearing.
good.
He's going to have a lot of help.
He needs it.
And still going to need it too.
Yeah, yeah. They should have it to where
They slide
have
the protection to whatever side Hutchinson is on.
That's how it should be each
Yeah.
time. And if the other guys beat us, oh well. But they should not allow Aiden Hutchinson to interfere with our offense like that.
Because this is what happens to Micah when teams are facing us,
Mhm.
and they know Micah is going to be at this spot or the other spot. They just slide the protection and they just nullify Micah. So we need to start doing that with some of these guys we're facing, like Hutchinson, and we did a really good job with the edge from Cleveland. I'm losing my train of thought.
We know you're talking about.
Defensive player of the year.
They did a good job against him.
Yeah, they slid protection against him for the whole game.
Yeah, it was like he wasn't even there. But Micah doesn't like that either. By the way, he don't like that, and he very.
So talk about some of the
that.
stuff that Micah was saying this week.
Micah was saying that. Well, this week he wasn't really saying nothing. He was just
Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett.
That was driving me crazy.
Yeah, he wasn't really saying nothing this week besides, just talking about the game, and he was talking about the NFL as a whole. But last week he was talking about the fact that he can't make plays because he's going up against 300-pound linemen the whole game, 2 or 300-pound linemen. And he was like, in order for me to make plays, I need to be moved around. And he was just saying that, a lot of the fans are criticizing him for not making splash plays. And he's just doing what he's being told to do by the defensive coordinator. So he's just doing what he's being told to do. And that's why, in my opinion, when he got rolled up on and he got hurt, he just had this nonchalant attitude like, hey, I'm going to go to the sideline. I'm hurt. I ain't playing next week. I mean, whatever. He want to be out there, but at the same time, Micah knows that he's not being used properly, and he's trying to be he's trying to be a leader and not saying nothing, to the coaches and not pouting while he's on the field and giving it his all. But that's the new age that we in, generation to generation. This new generation of players, they talk and they don't have a filter. They have their own brands. They have their own life, and this is bigger than the NFL. Micah's bigger than just the Cowboys. So Micah has his own podcast, and he has his own deal, his own brand. So he can say what he want to say, and he's good enough to say what he want to say and not have no repercussions behind it. Because what repercussions could you give Micah and not hurt yourself in the long run? What you gonna do?
So kind of looking ahead, when we play the 49ers in a couple of weeks, I'm thinking that Micah is going to return for that game, and I'm thinking also that they're going to probably protect him by playing him off ball and just probably reducing his snaps. That's what I would do. I would play him, move him around. He's going to play edge, of course, but I would play him, off ball And then it would just be some plays where, Micah, he just needs to come off the field a little bit just so he can make sure
Yeah.
that he's getting healed up all the way.
Perfect example of how he needs to play is how they was playing Colin today. Shout out to Colin, Simmons, from University of Texas, and they play OU today in a what's it called, a Red River Shootout.
Yeah.
So they had Colin playing off ball and on ball, and that was working perfect because they quarterback, the number 0 for Texas, the other edge rusher. I mean, he was just eating him up. But the quarterback didn't know where they was at. You got to pay attention to both of them. You got to pay attention to
Hmm.
Colin and number 0. You got to pay attention to them. You got to know where they at all times. If you don't know where they at all times, you're cooked. So but what Colin was doing was Colin would be on the right side on one play, rushing the quarterback, and then on the left, and then the next series, he'd be on the left side, and instead of rushing, he would just feint like he gonna rush, and then he'll back up in coverage. And when he would do that, the quarterback will be about to take off, and then he'll back up, and then he'll try to. He was just. It was just like he was just
He was
like
confused.
he was confused. He didn't want to go near Colin. He didn't want to throw over there. He didn't know whether you know. And some plays, the Colin would act like he gonna rush, but the lineman would try to engage, but then realize, oh, he backing up. So it's just like that's how Micah needs to be played. Sometimes you need to be over here, over there, over there. You know, the new
Well,
NFL, they don't.
just play Micah the way we always talk about. We're gonna do a show when Michael returns. We need to do a show showing his rookie year against Minnesota. We
Mhm.
need that. That's a must watch game for Micah. He played all over the field. He played all three spots. And then I would say in the Cleveland game, he played the same way. He
Is
wasn't
that the
just an
game?
edge.
Is that the game where he the cornerback had the slot cornerback had a blown coverage, and then Micah just bounced out and played corner real quick and stopped
It,
that
it
pass?
it might be. It was the game that Cedric Wilson caught a ball. It was the game that
Oh,
Cedric Wilson caught a post,
oh yeah, and,
and
and
uh,
before half,
and Cooper Rush was the quarterback.
yeah, the one where CD caught the ball like that.
No, that's not that one. That
Oh,
this game was a game. This was a game that Cooper Rush started.
this was a Thursday night game then.
It was a Thursday night game
Yeah.
or Sunday. It was, but that's must see TV for how Michael should play.
Also,
And
that I like the second game, the one where Dak came back. The first game that Dak came back with Micah,
yeah, yeah, he
where
played
we
good in
just
that one too.
yeah, where we just blew them out on the first
Yeah.
play. Micah sacked him,
So
strip
the
sacked
so
him.
the game I'm talking about was it was his rookie year,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and so
Yeah, it was a
now,
Thursday night game.
and I don't know if he was a rookie. We got to go back and redo. We got to go back and research it. But it
Well,
was the game that Cooper Rush played in.
well,
It-
you see, that's where we getting thrown off at because Cooper Rush played against the Vikings twice.
Okay, I didn't know that.
I think so because he did. Because number one, where that when CD caught that ball like that, that was a Cooper Rush ball,
Hmm.
and that's not the game you talking about.
Okay, well, the game I'm
I,
talking
I,
about is
I
the
think
one
it
I
is the
think.
game you talking about.
Yeah, but you can go back and cut them up and just look at each one of them.
That game where Cedric Wilson caught that ball going into half, that's the game. That's the game where that was the Thursday night game. That's the CD game because I watched that game in Houston.
Okay, well, that's the game that Micah was just. We want to compare Micah to Lawrence Taylor. That was a game where you could just see it was a Lawrence Taylor type game. And then, he did a good job against Cleveland in our first game this year. I keep going back to that. They was moving him around. He was going sideline to sideline. So that's the way he needs to play the rest of the year. And it kind of sounds like that's what UT was doing. So the other linebacker for UT, what's his name? Zero.
Mm-hmm.
I met his dad too at Duncanville and the state title game.
Mm-hmm.
But he was there. So we
Hey, he single handedly to me.
now I think he played at Duncanville. He graduated the year before Colin.
I'm finna find out who he is. D Moore.
Yeah, that's his name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I met his dad at one of the Duncanville state championship games. So
He single handedly DeAndre Moore Jr. Yeah, that's him.
mhm.
He was tearing OU up today. He was making
he
play
he
after
kind of
play
reminded me
after
of
play.
Overshawn a little bit, and he wearing the same number.
Yeah. He's a little bit more shorter, a little stockier, but is he a true freshman? He's a
He's a
sophomore.
sophomore. Yeah, he's a
Hey,
sophomore.
he was tearing them up today. And every time he wasn't, Colin was. They was going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's OU just wasn't.
No, OU is not going to beat Texas for a while.
Yeah, no, yeah, no.
And their coach, I didn't like that hire. OU's coach, they hired him
Nah,
from Clemson.
yeah,
He's a typical coach that he was a good a coordinator,
yep.
but everybody that's a good coordinator and a good coach, he's kind of, I don't know.
They didn't even score 3 points. I mean, they
So
scored
did
3 points today, I
so
think.
did Alabama end up winning?
Uh,
Because
yeah. I'm about to say they down. I think so. I was so locked in on Texas. I started zoning
so
Alabama out.
yours played good.
Uh, I mean, honestly, I don't think so. I think nah, I don't think so. We was really close to chanting, starting a crowd chant.
Well, well, he was just coming back, so
Yeah, but
uh,
still, it was just like he wasn't. No, he missed like three wide open touchdowns, missed them completely. And then it's rust, but
yeah.
he got it together throughout the game. But the offensive line and the offensive line and the running backs won this game. The running
Mm.
backs won this game. The running back scored the first two touchdowns. Um, and once they scored the first two touchdowns. No, they scored. So we went up 7-3. It was 7-3 for the first quarter and the second quarter. Then right before the half, like a minute and 30 before the half, we got a turnover. And on the next play, the running back took it to the house like 60 yards. And then he fumbled out the end zone. And number 11 recovered it right before he fell out the end zone. So then then after that, they got a turnover again. So it was like a minute left. And the running back took it to the house again. So the running backs blew this game open. And in the second half, they was so scared of the running backs because the running backs was just every time they get the ball and go on the outside, they was getting like 15, 20 yards. So every time that they was loading the box, and every time they were loading the box, Quinn Ewers was just stepping back and throwing it over the defense, and they was catching it like on the 2 or 3 yard line. That happened like twice. So he
Yep.
didn't
So
really play good
so
today.
tying it back into the Cowboys, what we gotta look at with the Cowboys is, you know, we can pretty much say that from here on out, Texas, they're gonna just get the best of the best. They're gonna get the top line talent, and Jerry Jones needs to take a page out of their playbook and just understand that you need to have the best coach, you need to have the best receivers, the best linebackers, the
I just want
best.
to before we finish that point, but I just want to say this: the Wisner for UT, the running back,
Mhm.
he had 13 attempts today. He averaged 9.1 yards.
Is he somebody that would be a good draft pick for Dallas?
Ooh, I don't know. He averaged 9.1 yards on 13 attempts.
Yeah,
That's
he would be the kind of back that if he goes in the second, third, or fourth round, that's how you build a football team.
yeah.
Because I think we're going to take a receiver number one. But if we get a running back in the third or fourth, you're balling. That's how you do it. That's what they didn't do the last two or three drafts. There were running backs right there for them to draft.
They got us taking Ollie Gordon the third from Oklahoma State in the
What is
first
he?
round. He's a
What is
running
he?
back. He a running back. They got
Have
us
you
taking a
seen
running
him?
back in the first round. I have, and he's good, but the Cowboys are not taking the running back in the first round.
I mean, I wouldn't put. I could see them taking a running back in the first. If the running back is
I
the
don't.
best player, they'll do it.
He definitely gonna be the best player, but I don't know.
So a receiver is not better right there.
Isaiah Bond is right there around him.
He's a receiver.
Yeah, for Texas.
Okay. So
So
yeah, I mean that's the other thing that the Cowboys need to do. They need to start taking these.
backyard, man.
Yeah, just quit avoiding all these players that are right here in Texas. That's how they, in OU as well. They passed up on Andrews, the tight end, that's playing for Baltimore. They've done that. So start back. Just start back. Just start drafting guys that are right here in your
But
backyard. They passed up on a couple of TCU players that were really good.
I don't understand that whatsoever.
I don't
And
know.
then you got now they taking Wyatt Milam or Milam from West Virginia with the second round pick, and he's a tackle.
Offensive tackle.
Yeah, so I don't know what. First of all, I don't know what Tankathon got going on. I
Yeah,
don't think that.
that's like way we ain't
I
even
don't
there
think so.
yet.
What are they trying to say? Still not coming back?
Well, you got people already talking about moving Guyton to right tackle, which is what he played. So they,
That's a good thought.
because somebody was talking about Steele's contract, and his contract is one that it's not a
After this, you
it's
can
not
get
a
off.
huge cap hit.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, I think Tyler Guyton is going to end up playing right tackle long
yeah,
term. But
yeah. Because you
but that's
can't
the
be
other thing
messing
that
up
we got to
again
look
all
at for
day.
tomorrow. So tomorrow Guyton is back and left, and so they're gonna just roll with it.
They can do that but they have to see the easiest way to fix the line. You have to utilize free agency. There is no other way to do it. You can't because you don't want to draft a tackle with your first round pick unless he's the best player on the board, which he's not going to be. And you don't want to draft him in the second round because drafting a tackle in the second round, it doesn't fare well in the league. Not with our team. We don't have the best scouts. So they'll go in there and they'll pick Akeem Richards. So we don't want to do that. So you have to basically say, okay, Tyler Guy, we're gonna cut or we're gonna move on from Terrence Steele because his contract, we'll take the cap hit, whatever. Move Tyler Guyton over to the right, and then go out in free agency and get the best left tackle that's available. That's all you got to do. It's just that simple. And then with your first round pick, you can draft a skill position like running back or wide receiver. And then from that point right there, if you just do if you just do those three things right there, if you move Tyler Guyton over, get rid of Steele, get you a free agent uh, left tackle, and use free agency, get you a tackle, trade for one or get one that's sitting at home, but that's good though, and spend big money on them, and then draft a skill position. Your offense is better than it was this year by four. It's miles better. You don't have to do nothing else if you just do those three
Yeah,
things. You don't have to do
and
nothing else.
a lot of people are convinced that they just want Tyler Smith to play left guard, and I agree with that. I think he's a left guard. I don't think he's a. I think he's an All Pro left guard. I think he's a okay left tackle, and so we're gonna see how this all. Tomorrow's gonna be interesting. The thing that we got to say about tomorrow's game, keep it in perspective. Whatever it turns out to be, we know that our team is gonna be better. We're gonna get some guys back, and if we see the Detroit Lions again in NFC Championship game, we'll be ready. We'll be prepared. So this is gonna be a game that we really want to try to pull out.
Yeah.
But if we don't, we'll see them again. I believe that we can match up with them again. And I wouldn't be concerned at all about playing them up there in a
Mm-hmm.
playoff game.
Because it's an inside thing.
Yeah,
Track
I
me.
wouldn't be. So this is gonna be a good game for us to look up. So let's go ahead and wrap. So today we did a podcast with our good friend Jeanette
Jeanette.
Berry with her organization. They do a great job in the community over by Redbird. It's called the Oak Cliff Community Care (OCC), and so they do a lot of work with kids in other organizations over in the Redbird area. So we did a podcast with her today, and we'll have a link for that at some point for you guys to check out. And so shout out to her and her team. They have a Cowboys fan club. It's like a nationwide thing. They go to uh, road games and they do stadium takeovers. They were in Pittsburgh last Sunday night, and tomorrow they're going to be at AT&T Stadium for the big game tomorrow. So shout out to her. She does a
Yeah.
wonderful job, and we do a lot of work with her doing the holidays, and we do a back to school thing with her. We do the backpacks for kids, and then we do the thing with her for Christmas with her team. And then shout out to my chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi, the Mecca. We did an event with them this morning. I did for breast cancer, and so shout out to um, Dallas alumni, Kappa Alpha Psi Noob. So one of the things we're gonna do on our show is we're gonna just talk about some of the community people that we work with, and try to help out those organizations. So that's one thing we're gonna bring to our show. So I got a background with that. I work for FedEx. So I was a United Way coordinator for FedEx for 25 years. So I raised thousands of dollars for United Way in St. Jude. So even though I'm semi-retired, I want to continue that community part of what we do, and so we're gonna stay involved with that. So
Yeah, because that's what this really is all about. We talked about it today, but that's really what this is all about. That's really what we're big on, is really being resources and getting resources and spreading resources around the community, in the Dallas area, the Oak Cliff area, all of the suburbs, and DeSoto, Duncanville, Cedar Hill, Lancaster, all in this area, just all the Dallas period, and we know that sports, especially in this time and time and day, and a lot of the stuff that's going on, everybody just needs something to be excited about. Everybody needs something else to um, entertain themselves with besides what's really going on in the real world. So we like to do our father and son podcast and talk about one of the things that bring us joy and happiness and has brought us joy and happiness for a long time, even though they haven't won the championship in 28 years. We still just love the sport and love all sports, and we still are Cowboy fanatics, and we're gonna ride or die with them. And so that's what this is all about. So we're gonna put links to all of the organizations and charities that we support and that we do work with, and we're gonna put links to them on the page. And as time progresses, you're gonna see us promoting them a lot more. Try to get some commercials with them, things like that we can put on our podcast and on our channel to get them some publicity, or get them and to promote them.
so talk about our channel, how it's growing. You're gonna be working on our YouTube, not YouTube. You're gonna be working on our
Facebook.
Facebook page, and then we got almost 400 views on our video that we did earlier in the week, which was pretty amazing.
That's right. That's crazy, man. If we can get everybody that's watching these videos to subscribe, that'd be wonderful. But we are growing. We on episode 22, and our views are skyrocketing. We don't know what's going on, but they skyrocketing, and we loving it, loving every bit of it. And so we're interacting with a lot of our fans too, because they're commenting, and we're seeing that, and we appreciate that. So everybody, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We got a lot of things that we working on, and we appreciate the support. And remember, the more you like, the more you comment, the more you subscribe, the more we can give back, because that makes our ratings go up, and eventually it's going to help us reach our goal. So we appreciate all the love and support that we getting, and to all the fathers and sons out there, we just trying to be an example, and we appreciate all the love that we getting, and um, we're going to continue to give back. The more love we get, the more it motivates us to continue to go. The more subscribers we get, the more we are motivated to put out more content and put out more videos. And so our channel is growing, and we want to continue to grow it. So like my dad always say, you just got to start. And once you start, you know, and you got tunnel vision. So we got tunnel vision on this thing, and we're working on a lot of things. I'm working on a lot of things as far as trying to get the platform more, I guess, more urban, I guess you would say. I need to learn a few tricks of the trade, but we got some things coming up with some other podcasters, and I'm learning from them, and we're learning as we going. So for us to just be starting off, and we 22 episodes in, we're proud. I'm proud of what we've accomplished so far, but we still got a long ways to go. So if everybody could like, comment, and subscribe, and we would appreciate that.
So what kind of takeout music you gonna do?
Um, let's see. Let's see what we got. Uh, I'm gonna just do the regular old takeout music, y'all, because that's what time it is now. Tomorrow is gonna dictate what kind of takeout music we play on the next video, and what kind of intro music we come in on the next video. Because it could be a somber show next show, or it could be a positive show. We gonna see. I do say that my prediction. I think that the Cowboys is gonna surprise everybody, and they was gonna win these next 3 or 4 games, or go 3-1. They already won one against the Steelers. I'm predicting that they're gonna win the majority of these next few games coming up, even if they win by a little bit. That's my prediction. So
So my prediction, I'm not tomorrow. I'm just not saying we're gonna win the one tomorrow. My prediction is we're gonna win the 49er game.
oh yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm hanging my hat on right now. I'm throwing putting my flag in the ground. We're gonna beat the
Yeah.
49ers in a couple of weeks. That's gonna be Micah's game back. It's a Sunday night game too, right?
Yeah.
We went up into Pittsburgh and stole their thunder, so we're gonna do the same thing in San Francisco. So hopefully we got two in a row, but I'm already planting my flag, Cowboy Nation, on that 49er game. You heard it here
Tomorrow
first.
we got to get our first home victory. We haven't won in AT&T and since Green Bay.
Well, you got to remember too, we won like what 16 games in a row at AT&T
Yeah,
last
we
going in
did,
completing last year.
and
So
we haven't won one since.
that's crazy.
So we got to get this first home victory tomorrow. Now, we lose at home tomorrow, and then go into the bye like that.
But that'll put us ready. That'll put us in a good mindset for the 49ers. So
It would.
that's where we're going with. All
All
right, so
right.
we can go ahead and wrap.
All right, y'all. So y'all remember to comment, like, and subscribe, and we'll see y'all on the next one. We out. Peace.